Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick rundown of this past weekend's Realm Rumble, both the 20K and the 10K, kind of talk about the meta, as well as like go over the Battle Hardened Bangkok a little bit and kind of give you my general thoughts on how the events went and kind of get your thoughts as a community on where we're going up until the release of Heavy Hitters. So if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do a lot of Flesh and Blood content. We're also going to be doing a lot of Alpha Clash content this week. Over the weekend, I really kind of took a break from making videos and really just wanted to kind of research some things. I want to be able to do some really cool Flesh and Blood content upcoming with Arachne, so I was doing some stuff on that. And then also I was doing a pretty big deep dive into the Alpha Clash set. I have looked at it beforehand over like a cursory look, but I really want to do some in-depth content on that game because a lot of people are going to be doing box openings and, you know, kind of more easier form content. I want to do a little bit more in-depth stuff, so that's why you've seen a couple days since the release. Otherwise, I would have done a little bit earlier. Regardless, we're going to be doing that, so feel free to check out those other videos. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. We'll get right into it. So, the Realm Games, which you see on your screen here, the Realm Games is a really cool, I believe it's a local game store. They've put on some really cool events in the past, and they've done like a Realm, like almost like a tournament series, right, where they've done a bunch of events, and you can place in these events across the country to qualify for like this 20K event that they just had. So they had a $20,000 event that was invite only, and then they also had a $10,000 event that you could just come and play at, as well as a $5,000 team sealed. So really, really crazy good event. Really well run, first off. I just want to kind of talk about them. Brody Spurlock ended up taking the whole thing, but they just did some really cool stuff. This was the top 8 for the 10K. We'll go over this real fast, I guess. So the 10K was a really cool event. It was not invite only. Anyone could join it. Michael Fang ended up taking it on Bravo. He ended up being Levi Rouch, but we have Ellie here, Raj, Pat, Fenno Black, like all these really, really top tier players. This top 8 was stacked along with the 20K. So Bravo ended up taking the whole thing over Azalea. Pat Eschke also had a really cool list. He was running the same list as Ethan Mansant, who is also on Levia. So really, really cool, diverse top 8. I'm not sure what Ellie was on. She was probably either on Bolton or probably Bolton, I would say, is my guess, but not 100% sure. But Bravo Azalea final, we had a Levi in there. Really, really cool, diverse top 8. But they ended up doing also a 20K, and they did really good coverage of the event. Really fun to watch. Just a really good event. It seemed like everybody had a really good time. This was the top 8 from the 20K, which we'll talk about here in a second. But this event, just my opinion, from a North American standpoint, the 20K specifically, this is probably the most stacked, like one of the most stacked top 8s from top to bottom in terms of talent and names and like notoriety. Like all, like, I mean, you have Mask Momentum and Mansant, which are both good, prominent content creators, but also really well-known players and specialists on their heroes, and Kano and Levia. You had Raj, who was doing amazing on Dash alongside Matt W., who just got off his world's top 8 on Dash. And then you also have Michael Hamilton, Brody Spurlock, Mara Ferris, and Yuki, right, to round it off. Just an extremely stacked top 8. And it was really fun to watch because in this top 8, we had 7 different heroes. We had Levia, Kano, 2 Dashes, Brody was on Azalea, Michael was on Bravo, Mara was on Dromite, and Yuki was on Bolton. So really, really cool top 8. Just congrats to the Realm Games. Definitely go follow their stuff on Twitter. Go follow their YouTube channel as well. They do really, really good events. And I think they're having a 50K next year. So, you know, good as time as ever to start following them. Go to their qualifier events and hopefully qualify for that big event. But this was the top 8. I will say this. I know people have said before at other points in the game, but I truly objectively think this. This is the most open Flesh and Blood has ever been from a meta perspective. The entire sorry, Zeus gets a little excited. The entire time I've been playing it. I've been playing it since just before Monarch, and I cannot think of a time in a meta where we had a more open like format, right? I mean, this had 7 top heroes in the top 8. The 10K had like, I think 6 or 7 heroes in the top 8. The Battle Hardened Bangkok had 3 Katsus, I think an Azalea, a Bravo, it had a Levia, like it had six to seven heroes. So insanely open format, and the fact that Phi just came off of winning Worlds, and we lost Icelander, and there was no Phis in the top 8 that I saw of these 3 events. There might have snuck in there. It's pretty awesome to see, right? People are trying new things. The good heroes are still good, but you're seeing Boltons, and Leviah placed top 8 twice over the weekend. Azalea got in the finals both of the 10K and the Balharm Bangkok and the 20K of the Realm Rumble. So, I mean, Azalea is a very strong deck right now. It's just really cool to see the format we're at. If anyone has a better time that there was, like the meta was better, let me know, other than like maybe set 1, right, when there was not that much out. But as sets have developed, I really do think we haven't had a more open format. So there's going to be a lot riding on heavy hitters in terms of, not in a bad way, but just in terms of seeing, like, how the meta unfolds, because right now it's in a really good spot. So I hope heavy hitters just kind of like adds another layer instead of like funneling it. But we'll have to see, obviously, when the set comes out and when the heroes are revealed. But this was the top 8. Matt W. ended up getting the overall first seed. I believe he was the only one in his win column, so he ended up playing Mara Ferris. So it was a Dash v. Dromai. Matt was on more of a aggro plan. I thought he was on a more of a slab dash style, but I was wrong on that one. But Matt ended up just kind of taking tempo that game. He had some really key early poppers that also allowed him to then smack back pretty well. He had a high octane turn into another double high octane turn like 2 turns later, and it was hard for Mara just to keep pace. Mara runs that Empress build, which can be a little bit hard to block with. I think it has a lot of 2 blocks in there because she runs snatches, flame call awakenings, all these different things. Mara played her butt off and kept it really close, but Matt was in control most of the game, just kind of took the tempo and never gave it up type thing. So Matt ended up moving on to that one. Then we had Peter, or otherwise known as Mask Momentum on Twitter, who was on Kano against Raj, who was also on Dash. Peter is literally the smoothest Kano player I've ever watched. Go watch his stuff. It's Mask of Momentum on Twitter. I'm pretty sure he's that on YouTube as well. He's probably going to put out a Kano deck tech. If you want to learn Kano, go watch this guy. Literally the smoothest Kano player I've ever seen. The lines he was doing and the fluidity and the quickness that he was doing them in was really, really good. Ended up playing Raj in a really close game. Raj ended up eking it out, though. But Peter did everything he could. He played for his outs. He had an insane... Go watch the Realm Games stream. He literally had I think I counted 10 cards in his pitch, 10 to 11 cards in his pitch zone, because he kept drawing like Tome of Aetherwind. Then he drew into Tome of Fjendal. He drew into Gaze the Ages. He kept like digging, and he couldn't quite find his piece on his kill turn, and then ended up dying to Raj. So that was a really close game. So we ended up having a Dash mirror in the top half of the bracket for the semifinal. And then we had Brody Spurlock and Yuki Lee Bender. Brody was on Azalea. Yuki was on Bolton. And this was a rematch of Swiss. So in Swiss, which was also streamed, Brody ended up eking it out on Yuki, but it was extremely close game. I mean, extremely close game. And this game was a little bit different. Brody kind of had a lot of good dominated turns that really put Yuki on the back foot, and she had a Lumina, I think, in Arsenal and in hand at one point, and just couldn't get it out. Like, there was one time where she had to just filter her hand and play Raiden for 0, Lumina it for 1, but she hadn't charged yet, so she just gained a life, I think, and then kind of passed. And Brody never really let her get that Lumina turn out. She also went, I'm pretty sure in the Swiss, she played Sabers against Brody. I'm not 100% sure. She played Raiden against Brody in top 8. But Brody's list is really kind of a high roll, go tall list. He can go wide if he wants, and he was doing that. But he has a really just slap you in the face, kind of all gas, no brakes list is what Brody has. So he did that. Brody had some really cool inclusions. He's running a 1 of Scout the Periphery, which is really interesting because it buffs any attack and Arsenal, just like Premeditate. So being able to play Ravenous Rabble for 8 or 7, stuff like that was really interesting. But Brody ended up moving there. And then we had Michael Hamilton versus Ethan Van Sant. And this was insane. This game was really fun. It was a 23-turn cycle game. Ethan ended up edging it out over Michael. Ethan had some insane turns. So Ethan got the good side of the brute RNG in this game on top of playing the game masterfully, but also had a really good game where instead of rolling dice and just throwing them on the table when he rolls scabs, he has a D&D dice dropper, and he would let Michael drop it, and Michael dropped 3 straight 6s for him, I think, in a row, followed by a 4 and then another 6, which was insane. So Ethan got insane value on turns where he normally wouldn't have gotten value and was able to filter his hand, which really helped him. The rolls helped him. I don't know if Ethan wins that game if he doesn't roll those 6s, but so that's how you have to be as brute sometimes, right? Sometimes you roll double 1s, sometimes you roll 6s, right? It's just how it goes. So you can't really just equate that to the win or the loss. But the funny part was at the very end, in the last turn, he had Michael roll one more time. Michael rolled a 1, so he had to pop gambler's gloves and then roll again, and Michael rolled a 4. So it would have been insanely anticlimactic if he would have gone through all that just to roll double 1s and lose because of it. But really close match. Ethan ended up irking that out. So we had an Azalea and a Levia in the bottom 4, and then went 2 dashes. So guaranteed to have dash in the final. In this dash mirror, Raj ended up taking it over Matt W. And then in the Azalea versus Levia match, extremely close match. But Brody ended up irking it out because Ethan ended up just dying a blood debt. He had to block out on a turn where he was going to die if he didn't block out, and then he just died to blood debt after that, I think. Or I think Brody had like one last dominate error that kind of put in. So we had an Azalea versus Dash final. Extremely good match, really close, but Brody ended up eking that one out and ended up winning the entire event. So congratulations to Brody. He's been on a tear this past couple months, doing really, really well at a lot of different events. Always a really stand-up person too, and just really fun to play against. He's in the Dallas area. He lives in the Dallas area, and he always comes to armories and stuff. Super approachable person. If you're new to the game or you're new to events, definitely go up to Brody, talk to him. Really, really good guy. But yeah, that's kind of how the events fell. About, like I said, Battle of Heart and Bangkok also had an Azalea Bravo final where Bravo took it, and then the Rumble 10K had an Azalea Bravo final where Bravo also took it. So an Azalea made the final of all 3 major events this weekend, which is pretty insane. So really gonna be interesting to see how people do in the next couple of months. Like, we have a couple notable events, but nothing crazy until Heavy Hitters comes out. You know, it's a holiday season. I will say that it'll be interesting to see if people put Warmongers back in the deck. But people keep saying, like, oh, people forget about Warmongers and take it out of the deck. Well, no, not really. Warmongers was in a lot of decks in the top 8 even this event. Like, Michael Hamilton has Warmongers in his deck, played against Brody. You know, a lot of the dashes can even run it sometimes, not as much, but you know, there's a lot of like decks that run it, maybe not in the 20K specifically, but like in the Bauhart and Bangkok, for example, there's 3 Katsus in that top 8. I guarantee you they were running Warmongers. So, and the Azalea still made the final. So it's not like it's a done deal. Azalea is going to lose if Warmongers is notable in the event, but overall, really fun to watch. Really excited to see what happens. They also, Brody ended up winning this champion playmat and a champion bracelet, which was really, really cool. Hopefully more tournament organizers can find a way to make this work. I know it's hard with cost and stuff like that, but it just really makes the event memorable for the players and makes people want to come back, right? You got to start somewhere. So definitely go give Realm Games a follow. Go give all the players a follow, please. It was a really fun event to watch. But let me know what you think about the meta. I think it's in a good spot. I think there's a lot of playable decks. I think specializing on a hero and knowing your matchups is more important than ever. And it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, how things evolve as we go into Heavy Hitters. But if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Definitely check out my other videos this week. I'm going to be doing a lot of Alpha Clash content. Please, if you're a Flesh and Blood player, give that thing some love. I'll talk about this in the Alpha Clash video as well, but every game starts somewhere. There was a time, and it was before I joined, but I noticed from talking to people, there was a time where Flesh and Blood was kind of like a game no one played, right? Like, it was a game that people kind of made fun of. It was seen as like a scalper's game. No one played it. The boxes were worth a ton of money, all this other stuff, right? But it was a great game. People just hadn't realized it yet. And Alpha Clash is kind of the same way, where we just get more people to play the game, be interested in the game, try the game out. They have great starter level product that's super cheap, so definitely try that out as well. I'll talk about it again in the Alpha Clash video, but try to give that some love. Even if you just go into the video and give a like and say, you know, for the algorithm, whatever, in the comments, definitely, you know, help push those videos so other people maybe that want to play that game we'll be able to see it, right? So definitely leave a like, comment, subscribe on this if you so choose. If not, it's totally fine. Go to our Flesh and Blood creator, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TC Talk. Thank y'all so much.